There are 10 pitchers who have a sub-2 ERA. I mentioned Shohei Ohtani is the class of the league. Well, yeah, in overall run prevention, Cam Schlittler, for qualified guys who have enough innings, is actually the league leader, 150. Nick Martinez is a big part of the Rays, run to the top in the American League. He's got a 151. His strikeout rate is in the 5s, too. Everyone else is in the 9s to 14s. But then you see Christopher Sanchez, 37-plus consecutive scoreless. Kyle Harrison and Jacob Misiorowski have been tremendous. Chase Burns, Chris Sale on the Hall of Fame trajectory has been great. Bryce Elder as well. What is happening, do you think, John Heyman? There's a number of guys who are just crushing it on the mound.
I would say there's a lot of great arms in baseball. I mean, they've got guys throwing 98 now. I remember when 95 was considered very, very hard, and it's probably led to some of the injuries that we've seen. Now, this guy is just on another level. We've never seen a starting pitcher throw 104 miles an hour before, but for me, Christopher Sanchez is the story. I mean, he's being overshadowed. He's got 37 and 2/3 scoreless straight. That is the most by that organization since Grover Alexander. That's a long time ago. It is pretty remarkable what these guys are doing.
Yeah, Sanchez has been tremendous. Again, Misiorowski, I'll just put in there, he went 7 yesterday against the Cards, gave up 1 run, 12 strikeouts, 1 walk. In May, he's got a 0.29 ERA. And 49 strikeouts and 6 walks. Again, I asked Rollie Fingers on Friday. We're up at the Hall of Fame, Bob, and I said, how hard did you throw? I forgot. How hard did Rollie Fingers throw? And he said, 93, 94. And I said, well, that was good back then, right? He goes,
real
yes.
Good. Very good.
It's like, no,
very good.
I don't know. I love watching Misiorowski pitch and Chase Burns, guys with alarming stuff. I know it's not good for their health, Bob.
Right.
I love watching it pitch.
Well, we know, or at least we have a strong feeling, that there'll be some time spent on the IL. There'll be some Tommy Johns, not necessarily for Misiorowski, but he could be on that list.
Well, what
it's
about
almost
him?
Inevitable. Guys throwing this hard on almost every pitch. The arm was not meant to sustain that.
But are we sure? I'm saying yes, yes, and yes. And from Noah Syndergaard on down, when a guy is throwing 97, 98 with his fastball and his slider. However, Misiorowski, at his height, at his length, we're talking about maybe could we looking at a Nolan Ryan-esque animal?
Could be an outlier.
There's one crazy outliner every generation. Maybe it's Misiorowski. I mean, he has not had that arm injury yet, and hopefully he never does.
Hopefully it's all right. I mean, it's electric to watch. Coming up next, our baseball plays of the weekend. Yeah, this is brand new. Yeah, the concept here, Bob Costas joins us. Everybody that comes through this show, it's Bob, it's Cliff Floyd, whoever it is, Chris Young, everyone has something that's bugging them. Doesn't matter much to anyone else, but it's you know what bugs me? And I always say, hey man, what's the burr in your saddle? What's the bee in your bonnet?
You know what, before we get to that, it looked like a Rockies player in that graphic Rockies uniform.
Yeah.
If you care, Mickey Moniak wrote a letter to Mickey Mantle, which I just saw it on the internet a few minutes ago.
Right.
He wrote a letter to Mickey Mantle because of the MM, the Mickey and the MM. His family, his grandfather played in the Red Sox organization in the 50s, intersected with Mantle and Ted Williams. So he always heard about Mickey Mantle. So he's written this heartfelt letter to Mickey Mantle, who's been gone since 1995. And saying what an influence he had on him growing up and wanting to be a baseball player. And he said, if I could ever meet you, I'd just say thank you. It's a beautiful letter that Mickey Moniak wrote to a long-gone Hall of Famer.
All right.
Yeah. I just came across it while you were talking to Joe Madden.
Now, see, the bee in my bonnet is Bob does something that he didn't say he was going to do before the show. He just goes, if I may. And I'm like, all
but
right,
it was
Bob,
good. It was good.
It was just very heartfelt.
Yes.
All right. Here's the bee in your bonnet. Start with, and again, I've been on this, but good, let you do it now. Base runner shtick. It wasn't always that when a guy got on first or second with a hit, any type, that there was this thing he had to do
to the dugout.
To his boys in the dugout. Where are you on this?
And especially when, let's say, you're losing 8-1 in the 7th inning, and you're on base with a bloop single. Do you have to do that? Look, the Dodgers are a class organization. Dave Roberts, Mookie Betts, all their key players. Will Smith, Shohei, Freddie Freeman. But do you have to do that every time you get a base hit?
Yeah, evidently
every time?
Yeah, actually, you do. We saw Kyle Tucker in spring training, like he did kind of a half-hearted version. They got on him, and so he started dancing. So it's like, if you're one of us, you'll do it.
You got to commit to it, right?
Yeah, it's like also now.
It's not the end of the world, but it's not my thing.
You see, that's and people, they get on me because BK, let him have fun. What's the big deal? Did you see what the Giants do after a win, a rare Giants win? Has been, I don't know if it's been discouraged or banned, but they did kind of a pelvic thrust out on the field. They've been told no more of that. So if you think it can't go too far, we're not showing it to you.
I got to be honest, I haven't seen it.
You don't want to see it. When you see it, you will howl, but you don't want your kids at the game and seeing that.
I would think not.
Yeah, so if you're thinking, oh, no, let them do whatever they want. No.
Or the kid's watching Quick Pitch before he goes to school, eating his Cheerios, and he has to see that.
We're not going to edit that in anyway. All right. Cal Raleigh, off to a bad start, and he's injured now. He's an oblique. But we were thinking about this the other week when we wondered, like, he's off such a historic season. He's the #1 catcher in the game. Yep. He had a couple of good years where he's a nice catcher, like number 5, number 6 in our top 10 list, to #1, and it's not even close. 60 homers, 125 RBIs. Now that he's having this season, he'll probably bounce back and be good.
He was hurt early.
But if he bounces back to his previous levels of the previous years, would he be like the Norm Cash of this day, where you have this monstrous season? Like, here's what he did previous to that 1 year: 303, 457. Then he slugs 589 last year. Now, I'm not even counting this year, but even if he goes back to his previous levels, he might be one of those guys with kind of the anomalous spike year.
And here are some examples. Norm Cash hits 361, leads the league in OPS in 1961. Now, back then, there's no MLB Network. There's no Sports Center. There's no OPS Plus. And all this stays in the Detroit Free Press, and people around the country, unless they're reading the sporting news once a week and looking at the box scores, everyone's talking about Mantle and Maris, and this is buried.
Right. Also, like, we came up, look, Davey Johnson, we were talking about this, 43 homers 1 year. He was a superb fielder. You're right. Rico Petrocelli shows up on the all-time great shortstop lists all the time. You're thinking, Rico Petrocelli. And the most recent is Jacoby Ellsbury, who had a bunch of nice years, but 1 year slugs 550, leads the league in total bases. You know, that's spike year. I wonder if Raleigh's going to be that. I don't know.
Davey Johnson with those 43 home runs. He was an excellent second baseman, then became Hall of Fame level manager. He was on great Oriole teams, but he never hit more than 18 home runs in any other season. That year, the Braves had 3 guys: Aaron with 40, Darrell Evans, who's an overlooked guy. He had 41, and Davey Johnson had the most of all of them at 43. Darrell Evans, not to be confused with Dwight Evans, he'd be a darling today. Low batting average, got 100 walks. Hit a bunch of homers, more than 400 in his career, more than 1,300 RBIs.
Would be greatly appreciated.
Yes, he would.
Sabermetric era.
He would.
Javi Baez is kind of the opposite of that, where would have been celebrated because dazzling to the eye, not as much on paper. But I don't know, it depends on where we are in which season. Where are you on the career, the puzzling career of Javi Baez?
Well, he was second in the MVP voting in 2018. He's part of the Cub team that wins the World Series in 2016. And he was a highlight reel unto himself. Great base running, acrobatic plays in the field. There were times when it almost looked like he invented what we see now, the swim move, slide to avoid tags.
He's still great at that.
Almost like he was a contortionist. But the numbers don't align with the impression.
So we're looking at the numbers there. You know where I'm at with Javi is now that I'm past the point where actually I remember talking to Scott Harris of the Tigers, and I was thinking, you're going to have to cut Javi Baez. Like, you have this new emerging good group of players.
Big contract.
Yeah, and I have this big contract guy. Just get rid of him. Actually, this year, before he got hurt, I thought he had turned into just a very good, useful player. He plays center field. Like, day one, he's very good. He can go back to shortstop when your shortstop gets hurt. I remember Joe Madden saying, like, when they were running out of, with the Cubs, catchers, they thought, I bet you Javi can catch. And Javi's like, yeah, I can catch. Like, I've never done it, but I'm sure I can do it. And he made one of the best baseball-y moves coming into the plate this year. So I look at it like his attitude, and this is going to happen a lot in the game. Big contract, underperforming. But what's your attitude toward the team? And I have to say, his has been excellent for Detroit.
If you take away what the expectations were.
And the money.
And the money. If you're not evaluating him on that basis, if he was just Joe Blow and he's on your team, he's a useful guy.
All right. Did you get some of the bees out of the bonnet?
Yeah. There's very little buzzing now. It's been quelled.
I was going to do Burr in the Saddle, but I thought this was nicer. We'll take a short break when we come back.